We're drowning in information, but we are starved for knowledge. Welcome back to Flame University Library in Pune, where I'm chatting with Durgesh Shah of Corporate Database. Durgesh bhai, when you joined the markets 35 years ago, what excited you about a career in the markets?
To be honest with you, I wasn't very excited about the markets when I came in. Although I came from a family of investing, my father was a trader. In fact, my grandfather also had invested in stocks. I remember in college, I started going to the markets because friends who were doing CA or ICWA were wanting to go and put applications into the IPOs. And it was a good way of making them additional pocket money. Like it's typically said of everyone, I borrowed money, got lucky the first break, made some quick gains, thought I was a genius, soon to be slapped, not only losing what I had made, but obviously part of what I had borrowed. Realized that I should go and work with some masters. So through Asit Koticha, whom I met at a Panwala shop in Sion, went and joined GM Financial with Mahindra Company and Hemendra Sheth there. In a short span of 10 months, had a very steep learning curve, met Siddharth Hegde of Cafe Coffee Day out there. So got, as they would call it, Allah Mehraban to Gada Pehlwan.
Those friendships endured in life, but Hemendra Company was one of the founders of the BSE. Manu Manik, I know, was a great influence in your life. Talk to me a little bit about them.
Mahindra Company very clearly in the year 1962 was a young man going to the stock exchanges because his family had a brokerage firm. He realized that during the China war, there was very little that you could do in the markets. The markets were kind of closed. So he would spend time going and visiting Bombay House, meeting the Sonawalas and Sabawalas of the Tatas, who guided him to do research. And that early in life, maybe he was in his 20s at that time, went about doing what I would consider the pioneer research work in the country.
Right. And Manu Manik was another influence in life.
Of course, he was a very big influence on all the guys at that point in time. I'm sure we used to meet there in his office with Nimish and Radhakishan and Manik bin Sali, and it was a great place, Mayur Kothari, all of them. I think he was very much misunderstood by a lot of outsiders or the media, but he was a great guy.
You talked about picking holes, and I realized the holes in your life have been filled with a Buddhist meditation technique called Vipassana. What is it, and does it help you actually become a better investor or a better human being?
Vipassana clearly helps anyone who does it seriously to become a great human being. There is no doubt about it. And obviously a great human being will be a good investor. The relationships between Vipassana and the markets are again amazing. Vipassana itself means, Vipassana is to see things as they are and not as they appear to be. That's what we are trying to do in the markets. And looking for the reality, not the illusion.
You mentioned to me that your biggest regret in life was?
I would think that not having spent enough time on practicing Vipassana is surely a big regret as we speak today. When we were discussing investing at Flame, I mentioned Nimish that Charlie Munger says that mistakes and failures have more to teach you than success. And Nimish said, then you are the best person because you've made more mistakes and failures.
That's rankly unfair, but I'll let it pass.
The fact of the matter is, if you can learn from other people's mistake, you're really smart. If you can learn from your own, you're average. If you can't, God help you.
Fair enough. But how do you approach this at Flame? I know you run a course, and what makes this course special?
There is, first of all, the undergraduate program is liberal arts. So, investing is the ultimate liberal art. As an investor, you have to know not only finance but behavioral finance.
Psychology
history is very important. If you are not going to make not going to know enough about history, you're going to make the same mistakes that other people made in the history. Geography and its importance. So I would think communication is extremely important. So it is the ultimate liberal art. In the postgrad, we have the MBA school where we are trying to integrate it with people who would want to do CFA, and they can also learn a bit about investing. But outside of this, we run courses for people who are not a part of the school but who come in, and we have, as I said earlier, we've been lucky and blessed with friends like you or many others from markets. There are people like Sanjay Bakshi, Sanjay Bhattacharya, and also people like Ramesh Damani and Rakesh Jhunjhunwala who come here and talk to participants over a 5-day course.
Unique, one-of-a-kind experience for the students.
I would think clearly from the responses we see that people are very excited. They see that what these guys talk about is really something that they learn a lot from.
Insiders giving insight, that's what it's all about.
It's mainly insights, it's mainly experiences which would be very difficult to understand out of books.
I talked about what excited you about in the markets. Let me end by asking you, what excites you today about markets?
Again, what you mentioned about that, I feel blessed that I have had associations with not only people in the markets, people in the corporate world, relationships with people like the managements at Infosys, Motherson Sumis, Supreme Industries.
All great stocks.
Great people that made their stocks very well. So you have gratitude towards people. I mean, very often we forget that we do well because somebody is creating wealth for the nation, for the company, and we just riding. So you have to understand that you are the dog walking under the cart.
Humility and gratitude are important to understand for an investor.
I think it is extremely important. And as I said earlier, if you aren't humble, you're going to be humiliated very soon, whether by markets or by nature.
You know, you talked about one of the great films that I saw was The Wizard of Oz. It's an old classic. Dorothy, the young lady in the film, is told by the Wizard of Oz that you should be happy that I'm granting you an interview today rather than 20 years from now. Well, we are extremely happy that you also, despite being so quiet and reticent, have broken your own rules and granted us an interview today. Thank you so much for appearing on the Wizards of Dalal Street.
On the street, they say that visibility precedes death, and the fish that surface outside the water get harpooned. But as I said earlier, for relationships that I wish and to cherish, I bend backwards, and so always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure always.